Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back to Timeless Insight. Today, we are talking about something millions of older adults experience every single day, but very few people truly understand: napping. Now, tell me honestly, do you take naps during the day? Maybe after lunch? Maybe in your favorite chair? Maybe while the television quietly plays in the background? Or maybe you try to fight sleep because someone once told you too much napping is bad. Only lazy people nap. Something must be wrong with you. But, my dear friends, the truth about napping, as you get older, is far more emotional and far more important than most people realize. Because sometimes a nap is healthy. Sometimes it's your body asking for recovery. Sometimes it's emotional exhaustion. And sometimes it's loneliness hiding quietly behind tired eyes. As we grow older, our relationship with sleep changes. After 60, after 70, and especially after 80, many seniors wake up earlier. Many sleep lighter. Many wake up several times during the night without even knowing it. And then, during the afternoon, the body suddenly feels heavy. Your eyes close. Your energy disappears. And you wonder, why am I always tired now? But what if I told you it's not always about age? What if your daytime exhaustion is connected to stress, worry, heartbreak, or even the quiet loneliness many seniors carry silently every day? That's why this video is not just about sleep. It's about understanding your body, your emotions, and your life after 60. And today, I want to share something deeply personal with you. A few years ago, I met an elderly woman named Ella Laner. Every afternoon, around 2 p.m., she would sit beside the same window and fall asleep in her chair. At first, her family thought she's just getting older. But one day, her grandson asked her something simple. "Grandma, are you tired or are you sad?" And suddenly, tears filled her eyes. Because, for the first time, someone understood the truth. She wasn't only physically tired. She was emotionally exhausted. Her husband had passed away. Her home had become quiet. Her days had become repetitive. And sleep slowly became her escape from loneliness. My dear friends, this happens to more seniors than people realize. And that is why today's conversation matters so much. Because there is a huge difference between healthy rest and slowly disconnecting from life. In this video, we're going to talk honestly about why older adults nap more, when naps help your brain, when too much sleep becomes dangerous, why emotional pain can make you feel exhausted, and how to rest without losing your joy for life. And please stay until the end, because the final advice may completely change the way you think about aging, energy, and peace. But before we continue, if you enjoy these heartfelt conversations for seniors, please subscribe to Timeless Insight, like this video, and become part of our growing family. And in the comments below, tell me, how old are you? And do you take naps during the day? Your story may help another senior feel less alone today. Now let's talk about the real truth behind napping as you get older, because it's not what most people think. Part 1. Why your body craves naps more after 60. One of the biggest mistakes society makes is assuming older adults are tired because they are becoming weak. But the truth is much deeper than that. Your body after 60 is not weak. It is experienced. It has carried decades of responsibility, decades of stress, decades of work, sacrifice, heartbreak, raising children, surviving difficult times, and taking care of others before yourself. And after all those years, your body simply begins asking for more recovery. That is not failure. That is human. You see, younger people often think sleep works the same way forever. But once you enter your 60s, 70s, and 80s, the body changes quietly. You may notice you wake up earlier than before. You sleep lighter. Small noises wake you up. Your bladder interrupts sleep. Your joints ache at night. Or your mind becomes active at 3 a.m., thinking about life. And because nighttime sleep becomes more fragile, many seniors naturally feel sleepy during the afternoon. This is actually very common. But sadly, many older adults begin feeling ashamed of it. Some people even force themselves to stay awake just to prove they are still strong. My dear friends, please don't do that to yourself. Rest is not weakness. Even nature rests. The sun sets every evening. The oceans become calm. Birds return quietly to their nests. Why should human beings be expected to never slow down? I remember an older man named Harold. Harold was 78 years old, proud, independent, and stubborn. Every afternoon after lunch, his eyes became heavy, but he refused to nap. He used to say, napping makes old people look useless. So instead of resting, he forced himself to stay awake in front of the television for hours. But over time, something happened. He became irritable, forgetful, emotionally drained. He stopped enjoying conversations, and he constantly felt exhausted. One day, his doctor told him something simple but powerful. "Harold, your body is not asking you to quit life. It's asking you to recover." That sentence changed him. For the first time, Harold stopped seeing naps as surrender. And slowly, his life improved. He began taking short afternoon naps, just 20 or 30 minutes. Not too long, not too late in the evening. And after a few weeks, he noticed something surprising. He had more patience, more clarity, more emotional peace. Because healthy rest can actually help the aging brain. And this is something many seniors don't realize. A short nap can sometimes improve memory, reduce stress, support heart health, improve concentration, and even improve mood. But here's where things become important. There is a difference between healthy napping and escaping life through sleep. And many older adults quietly cross that line without noticing. At first, it starts small. You sit down just for a moment. Then 1 hour passes. Then 2. And suddenly, you wake up feeling even more tired than before. Why? Because very long naps can confuse the body's internal clock, especially after 70. When naps become too long, nighttime sleep becomes weaker. Then, the next day, you feel exhausted again. So, you nap longer again. And slowly, the cycle continues. This is why balance matters so much. The healthiest naps are usually short and intentional, not endless sleeping throughout the day. And my dear friends, sometimes the real reason older adults feel tired has nothing to do with sleep at all. Sometimes it's emotional exhaustion. You see, aging changes more than the body. It changes life itself. Children grow busy. Friends move away. Some loved ones pass on. The house becomes quieter. And loneliness creates a type of fatigue people rarely talk about. A tired heart can make the entire body feel heavy. I once spoke to a woman named Clara. After her husband passed away, she began sleeping nearly every afternoon. At first, her family thought she was simply aging. But one day, she quietly admitted something heartbreaking. "When I'm asleep," she whispered, "I don't feel so alone." That sentence stayed with me deeply. Because many seniors are not truly tired from age. They are tired from carrying silent emotional pain. And if that is you today, please know this. You are not lazy. You're not broken. And you are not weak. You are human. That's why after 60, caring for emotional health becomes just as important as caring for physical health. Yes, naps can help the body. But purpose, connection, conversation, laughter, sunlight, and feeling needed, those things awaken the soul. So, my advice to you is simple. Rest when your body genuinely needs rest. Take care of yourself with kindness. But never allow sleep to slowly replace living. Because life after 60 still has beauty waiting for you. And sometimes the most important thing isn't getting more sleep. It's finding more reasons to stay awake for life. Part 2. The hidden dangers of too much napping after 70. Now, we need to talk honestly about something many older adults ignore for far too long. Sometimes too much daytime. Sleep is your body trying to warn you about something deeper. And this is very important to understand. You see, healthy naps and excessive sleeping are not the same thing. A short afternoon rest that refreshes your mind is normal. But when sleeping becomes constant, when you feel exhausted every single day, when you lose interest in life, people, hobbies, or movement, then your body may be asking for help, not just rest. And sadly, many seniors dismiss these warning signs by saying, "Well, I'm just old now." But, my dear friends, not everything is just old age. Sometimes there are hidden causes behind extreme fatigue. For example, poor nighttime sleep, medication side effects, depression, dehydration, diabetes, low vitamin levels, heart problems, sleep apnea, anxiety, or emotional loneliness. And here is the heartbreaking truth. Many seniors suffer silently because nobody asks how they truly feel emotionally. People ask, "How's your blood pressure? How are your knees? How's your medication?" But very few ask, "How is your heart feeling lately?" And emotional pain can drain energy faster than physical labor. I remember an elderly man named Victor. Victor had been strong his entire life. He worked hard, raised children, paid bills, protected his family, and never complained. But after retirement, his world became smaller. The mornings became quieter. The phone stopped ringing as much. His children became busy with their own lives. And slowly, Victor began sleeping more and more. At first, his family thought he deserved rest. But the truth was much deeper. Victor no longer felt needed. And when human beings stop feeling needed, the spirit becomes tired. One afternoon, his granddaughter visited him unexpectedly. She found him asleep in his chair at 3 p.m. When he woke up, she smiled and said, "Grandpa, I miss hearing your stories." And for the first time in months, Victor's eyes lit up. That small moment reminded him that he still mattered. My dear friends, never underestimate the power of purpose. Because many seniors are not physically exhausted. They are emotionally disconnected. And the body often responds to emotional emptiness with fatigue. This is why some older adults sleep more after losing a spouse. After grief, the nervous system becomes heavy. Even simple tasks feel exhausting. Some seniors lose motivation to cook, to walk, to socialize, to clean the house, to answer phone calls. And instead of admitting sadness, they simply say, "I'm tired." But emotional exhaustion is real. In fact, loneliness has been linked to poor sleep, memory problems, increased stress, depression, and even heart disease. Human beings were not designed to live emotionally isolated, especially not after decades of family life and connection. That's why staying connected after 60 becomes essential for health. Not optional, essential. Call someone. Talk to neighbors. Join a small community. Sit outside where life is happening. Speak to people at the grocery store. Smile at strangers. Keep your heart connected to humanity, because isolation slowly drains life from the spirit. And my dear friends, there is another hidden danger of excessive napping nobody talks about enough. The less active we become, the weaker our energy often gets. It sounds strange, but movement actually creates energy. That's why seniors who walk regularly often feel more awake than seniors who remain seated all day. The body was designed for gentle movement. Even a slow walk outside, a little sunlight, watering plants, stretching in the morning, or folding laundry with purpose can awaken both mind and body. I once met an 82-year-old woman named Gloria. She told me something unforgettable. On the days I stop moving, she said, my tiredness gets louder. That sentence carries wisdom because sometimes exhaustion grows stronger when life becomes too still. Now, please understand, there is absolutely nothing wrong with resting. After all you have lived through, your body deserves compassion. But there is a difference between restoring your energy and disappearing into sleep because life no longer feels meaningful. And if you have been feeling constantly exhausted lately, I want you to ask yourself something gently tonight. Am I truly tired, or has my heart become heavy? That question matters more than most people realize, because healing after 60 is not only physical. Sometimes the soul needs healing too. And, my dear friends, you still deserve joy. You still deserve laughter. You still deserve meaningful conversations. You still deserve mornings that feel worth waking up for. Never forget that. Because growing older should never mean disappearing from life. It simply means learning how to live more gently, more wisely, and more intentionally than before. Part 3. The right way to nap after 60. Most seniors get this wrong. Now that we've talked about why older adults become more tired and why emotional exhaustion can hide behind daytime sleepiness, let's talk about something practical and life-changing. How should seniors actually nap in a healthy way? Because, believe it or not, the way you nap can either help your body or quietly make your sleep problems worse. And most older adults were never taught the difference. You see, many seniors accidentally turn naps into long daytime sleep sessions. They sit down after lunch, close their eyes for a few minutes, and suddenly wake up 2 or 3 hours later feeling confused, groggy, and strangely heavier than before. Have you ever experienced that? You wake up not knowing what time it is. Your mouth feels dry. Your body feels weak. And instead of feeling refreshed, you somehow feel even more tired. That happens because your brain entered deep sleep. And when you wake up suddenly from deep sleep, your body struggles to adjust. This is why experts often recommend shorter naps for older adults, usually around 20 to 30 minutes, just enough to refresh the mind without throwing off your body's natural sleep rhythm. Think of it like charging a phone. A short recharge helps. But if the system overheats or becomes unstable, problems begin. And, my dear friends, timing matters too. The best naps usually happen earlier in the afternoon, around 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Late evening naps can confuse the brain and make nighttime sleep much harder. And once nighttime sleep becomes poor, the entire cycle of exhaustion grows stronger. This is why many seniors say, "I'm tired all day but awake all night." Now, let me tell you about a man named Leonard. Leonard was 76 years old and had recently retired. Every evening after dinner, he would fall asleep in front of the television around 7 p.m. Then later at night, he couldn't understand why he stayed awake until 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. He thought insomnia had suddenly appeared. But the real problem wasn't nighttime. It was the evening sleeping. Once Leonard slowly changed his routine, taking a shorter afternoon nap instead of long evening sleep, his nights improved dramatically. And something else improved, too: his mood. Because sleep affects emotions more than people realize. When seniors sleep poorly, they often become more anxious, more forgetful, more irritable, and emotionally sensitive. That's why protecting healthy sleep becomes one of the greatest forms of self-care after 60. But, my dear friends, there is another important truth about napping nobody talks about enough. The environment around you matters deeply. Many older adults nap while the television blasts noise in the background, or in dark rooms all day long, or while sitting awkwardly in chairs that strain the neck and back. Small things like this can affect both sleep quality and emotional well-being. So, here's my gentle advice. Create peaceful rest. Open the curtains slightly. Let natural light enter the room. Keep the space calm and quiet. Use a light blanket if needed. Set an alarm if you tend to oversleep. And most importantly, nap with intention, not with hopelessness. There's a powerful difference between saying, "My body needs a little recovery," and saying, "I just want this day to disappear." My dear friends, please never stop giving your days meaning. Even small moments matter. A cup of tea by the window, a phone call, watering flowers, watching birds outside, listening to music from your younger years, writing memories down for grandchildren. These little things keep the spirit awake. I once spoke with an 80-year-old woman named Evelyn. She told me, "I noticed I slept too much when I stopped having things to look forward to." That sentence touched my heart deeply because human beings need anticipation. We need reasons to wake up tomorrow. And after retirement, many seniors unintentionally lose structure. Before, life had schedules, work, responsibilities, people needing you. Then suddenly, the days become empty. And emptiness often creates fatigue. This is why healthy aging is not just about medicine. It's about maintaining purpose. The seniors who often age most peacefully are not always the youngest looking or physically strongest. They are the ones who continue participating in life, who stay curious, who keep talking, who keep laughing, who still feel emotionally connected to the world around them. And, my dear friends, that matters more than many people realize. So yes, take your naps. Rest your body with kindness. But never let rest become isolation. Never let sleep replace living, because your life after 60 still carries value, wisdom, beauty, and purpose. And sometimes the healthiest thing an older person can do is not sleeping longer. It's finding something meaningful worth staying awake for. Part 4. Why some seniors feel tired even after sleeping all day. Have you ever slept for hours, taken a nap during the day, gone to bed early at night, and still woken up feeling exhausted? If so, you are not alone. And today, I want to tell you something very important. Not all tiredness comes from lack of sleep. Sometimes the body is exhausted, but sometimes the soul is exhausted too. And many older adults spend years trying to fix emotional exhaustion with more sleep. But no amount of sleeping can fully heal a heavy heart. You see, after 60, many seniors carry invisible burdens nobody else can see. Worries about health, fear of becoming dependent, financial stress, grief after losing loved ones, loneliness, regret, memories that still hurt after decades. And over time, emotional stress begins affecting the body itself. The mind becomes tired. The nervous system becomes tired. Even simple daily tasks begin feeling overwhelming. That's why some seniors wake up already exhausted before the day even begins. Not because they didn't sleep, but because their mind never truly rested. I remember speaking with a woman named Patricia. Patricia was 79 years old. Every afternoon, she slept for nearly 3 hours. Yet she constantly felt drained. At first, she blamed aging. But during one conversation, She quietly admitted something heartbreaking. Every night before sleeping, she replayed painful memories from her past, mistakes, arguments, things she wished she had said differently, people she missed deeply. Her body was sleeping, but her mind was fighting battles all night long. And, my dear friends, many seniors do this without realizing it, especially during quiet nights, because silence can sometimes make old memories louder. This is why emotional peace becomes one of the greatest forms of health after 60. And please hear me carefully. Inner peace does not mean your life was perfect. It means you stop punishing yourself for being human. Many older adults carry guilt for things that happened 20, 30, even 40 years ago. But, my dear friends, you cannot heal while constantly reopening old wounds. At some point, you must allow yourself compassion, too. I once met an elderly man named Frank. Frank told me, "For years, I thought I was physically tired. Then I realized I was emotionally exhausted from carrying regret." That sentence contains enormous wisdom, because emotional pain becomes physical over time. Stress affects sleep, blood pressure, appetite, memory, energy, and even the immune system. This is why some seniors suddenly feel older after periods of grief or loneliness. The body feels what the heart carries. And sadly, many people underestimate how dangerous chronic loneliness can become after retirement or widowhood. Human beings need emotional connection. We need conversation, affection, laughter, feeling seen, feeling remembered. Without those things, the spirit slowly becomes heavy. That heaviness often appears as fatigue. Some seniors begin sleeping more simply, because they no longer feel emotionally stimulated by life. Days begin blending together. Morning, television, nap, dinner, sleep, repeat, and slowly, joy disappears without warning. My dear friends, please do not allow life to become emotionally silent. Even if your circle becomes smaller, keep reaching toward life. Call someone, sit outside, visit a neighbor, join a local group, talk to younger people, share your wisdom, tell your stories because your voice still matters. And there's something else many seniors never realize. Movement creates emotional energy, too. When you stay inside for too long, when the curtains remain closed, when the body rarely moves, the brain often becomes more tired. Even a short walk can awaken the nervous system. Sunlight matters. Fresh air matters. Human interaction matters. I remember an 83-year-old woman named Rose. After her husband passed away, she spent nearly an entire year sleeping through most afternoons. One day, her granddaughter invited her for short walks every morning. At first, Rose resisted. She said, "I'm too tired." But after several weeks, something incredible happened. Her naps became shorter. Her mood improved. She laughed more. And one afternoon, she said something beautiful. "I thought I needed more sleep," she said softly, "but I really needed more life." My dear friends, that may be one of the deepest truths about aging. Sometimes what looks like tiredness is actually emotional disconnection from joy, purpose, or human connection. And no pill can fully replace those things. That's why taking care of your emotional world after 60 is just as important as taking care of your body. Protect your peace. Protect your relationships. Protect your mind from constant negativity. Protect your spirit from isolation. And please remember this. Growing older does not mean your meaningful years are over. Some of the most peaceful, wise, and emotionally beautiful years of life can still happen after 70. But you must continue participating in life, even gently, even slowly, because healing does not always come from sleeping more. Sometimes healing comes from reconnecting with life again. Part 5. The biggest lie about napping and aging. There is one painful lie many older adults slowly begin believing after 60. And that lie is this: because I'm older now, slowing down means my life is ending. But that is not true. Slowing down is not the same as giving up. And needing rest does not mean you have become useless. In fact, one of the greatest lessons of aging is learning the difference between exhaustion and peace. When we are younger, life pushes us constantly. Wake up early, work harder, move faster, handle responsibilities, take care of everyone else. For decades, many seniors lived without real rest, especially parents, especially caregivers, especially people who spent their entire lives sacrificing for others. And now, suddenly, after retirement or after children leave home, the body finally whispers, Can we rest now? But instead of listening with compassion, many older adults judge themselves harshly. They compare themselves to younger people. They become frustrated by lower energy. They feel guilty for sitting quietly. They fear becoming a burden. My dear friends, please stop punishing yourself for aging naturally. Your body has carried you through an entire lifetime. It deserves kindness now. But here's the important truth most people never talk about. There is a healthy kind of slowing down and an unhealthy kind. Healthy slowing down means protecting your peace, resting when needed, simplifying stress, and living more intentionally. Unhealthy slowing down happens when people emotionally withdraw from life itself. And this often happens quietly. A senior stops answering phone calls, stops going outside, stops caring about appearance, stops laughing, stops planning for tomorrow, and slowly sleep becomes easier than living. I remember meeting an 81-year-old woman named Miriam. After losing several close friends within a few years, she slowly stopped participating in life. Her daughter told me, she sleeps all the time now. But when I spoke with Miriam, I realized something heartbreaking. She wasn't just tired. She had lost excitement for tomorrow. And, my dear friends, that kind of exhaustion is very real. Because human beings need hope, no matter how old we become. Conversations, little joys, reasons to smile, and moments that remind us we are still alive inside. That is why purpose becomes medicine after 60. Not pressure, not busyness, purpose. Sometimes purpose is something small. Watering plants, feeding birds, cooking for grandchildren, reading scripture, helping neighbors, sharing wisdom, or simply encouraging another lonely person. Never underestimate how meaningful your presence still is. A kind older person can change someone's entire day with one conversation. And that matters. My dear friends, one of the most dangerous things about excessive napping is not the sleep itself. It's what often disappears alongside it. Movement disappears. Social connection disappears. Motivation disappears. Curiosity disappears. And without realizing it, some seniors slowly stop living emotionally while they are still physically alive. Please don't let that happen to you. Yes, rest when your body needs rest, but also keep your spirit awake. Open the curtains in the morning. Sit in sunlight. Listen to music. Learn something new. Call someone first instead of waiting for them to call you. Tell your stories. Laugh whenever possible, because joy is not only for young people. Peace is not only for young people. And meaningful living certainly does not end after retirement. I once asked a 90-year-old man named Samuel what kept him feeling mentally alive. Do you know what he said? Every morning, I try to find one reason to be grateful before my feet touch the floor. That simple habit changed his entire energy because gratitude awakens the mind differently. People who constantly focus on loss often feel emotionally exhausted. But people who continue noticing beauty, even small beauty, often carry more emotional strength through aging. A warm cup of tea, morning sunlight, a grandchild's laughter, birds outside the window, a peaceful prayer, a kind message, these things matter deeply. And, my dear friends, maybe that is the real truth about napping as you get older. The problem is not usually the nap itself. The deeper question is this: are you resting to restore your life, or sleeping to escape from it? That question can change everything. Because healthy rest gives you strength to return to life. But emotional exhaustion slowly pulls people away from life itself. So please take care of both your body and your heart. Protect your sleep, but also protect your purpose. Because no matter your age, your life still carries meaning. And the world still needs the wisdom only you can give. My dear friends, as we come to the end of today's conversation, I want you to remember something very important. Growing older is not a weakness. Needing rest is not failure. And taking a nap during the day does not make you lazy. Your body has traveled a long road. It has carried responsibilities, survived pain, worked hard for decades, loved deeply, and endured things younger people may never fully understand. Of course, your body sometimes asks for rest. Now, that is human. But after today, I hope you also understand this deeper truth. Not all tiredness comes from age. Sometimes the body is tired, but sometimes the heart is tired, too. Sometimes loneliness creates exhaustion. Sometimes grief creates exhaustion. Sometimes losing purpose creates exhaustion. And many seniors spend years trying to sleep away feelings that actually need healing. Connection, conversation, and hope. My dear friends, please don't disappear from life just because you are growing older. The world still needs your wisdom, your kindness, your stories, your presence, your smile. You still matter more than you realize. And maybe that's the biggest lesson of today's video. Healthy aging is not about staying young forever. It's about learning how to live gently, peacefully, and meaningfully in every stage of life. Yes, take your naps. Rest when your body truly needs recovery. Protect your health. Listen to your body with compassion. But also remember to protect your spirit. Open the curtains in the morning sunlight. Talk to people. Keep laughing. Keep learning. Keep moving gently. Keep finding little reasons to enjoy tomorrow, because purpose gives energy to the soul. I once heard an elderly woman say something beautiful. She said, "The days I feel most alive are not the days I sleep the longest, but the days I feel connected to life again." That sentence stayed in my heart. And maybe tonight, before you sleep, I want you to ask yourself something gently. What still brings light into my life? Hold on to those things, because no matter your age, there is still beauty ahead of you. There are still peaceful mornings waiting for you. Still meaningful conversations. Still memories left to create. Still love left to give. And, my dear friends, never forget this. You are not too old. You are not forgotten. And your best emotional years may still be ahead of you. Thank you for spending this time with me today here on Timeless Insight. Please like this video, subscribe, and become part of our growing family, where seniors from around the world support one another with wisdom, peace, and encouragement. And before you go, tell me in the comments, do you take naps during the day? And after watching this video, do you think about them differently now? I truly love reading your stories. Take care of your body, protect your peace, and never stop choosing life one beautiful day at a time. And I will see you again very soon, my dear friends.